Developments when it comes to drones. More regulations could be on the way. That's what the government is for, right? Regulation. A government-sponsored committee wants to allow commercial drone flights over populated areas. Now, this is something the FAA does not like, so this could clear the way for drone delivery.
So joining us this morning is James Arrowood with Fruitkin Law. He's an expert. You are an expert. We've talked before on drones.
Oh, yeah.
So what are these new standards? They're recommendations, right?
They are. And first, let me clarify. I'm now with my own firm. I've started my own firm as of January. It's called Arrowood Attorneys.
Congratulations.
So that's great
Good for
news.
you.
And we have a couple lawyers. And we're not just doing drone laws. We're doing everything.
Perfect.
All the normal legal stuff. But I want to clarify that. But yes, the FAA had a working group. And they came through with some recommendations on 4 categories of UAVs or drones. The first category is really going to be the manufacturers responsible for deciding where they should fly. And those are the really small ones. I brought them in before, and they look about the size of the toy one, what you would call a toy one.
Yeah.
And the duty falls upon the manufacturer mostly because they're the ones in the best position if kids get them or they're just flying around. They're designed to have less than 1% chance of injuring somebody if they were to fall out of the sky at their worst speed or whatever.
Okay.
So they're really limited, small chance, like a bird hitting somebody. So that's the equivalency. The second category is where you start to get into drone deliveries, one of which would be for Frappuccinos, if you know about those. They're amazing. Green tea Frappuccino, highly recommend.
Okay, thank you.
But yes, anyways, so you could have those delivered. Something small could be delivered with those. And that's where Amazon's coming in, and you see some footage on that. But Amazon wants, for instance, to be able to deliver, again, packages under about 5 pounds. And that's considered to be under a 1% chance of serious injury. So they need to be designed with some cushioning, as it were, and some things like that.
Sure.
And that falls on the operator. And then the next 2 categories, there's 4 total. Category 3 and Category 4. Category 3 would be for power line inspections, for instance. And that's what we just saw where the car knocked down the power line.
Yeah.
That would be for an inspection of that, and that has a 30% chance of injury. Okay, so it would
these
not
would
be over
drones
people.
operated by utility companies.
By utility companies, oil companies, things like that,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
there's a higher degree of injury and they're not allowed over groups of people.
Okay.
So the fourth category is where there's a higher category of potential injury, and then they have to file a specific flight plan for safety purposes. And they have to say, we're going to fly over streets and we're going to fly over places that aren't very populated. So that's the recommendations. They're not rules yet.
Right, okay. So when
That's
is
right.
this going to happen then?
Well, anybody's guess. I mean,
Okay.
the presidential candidates haven't spoken on it yet. So we
No,
don't
we
know.
haven't got any positions on
No
drones.
positions
Which is
on drones.
Maybe
ridiculous.
some would like their medication delivered by drones.
Well,
But
actually,
anyway.
that's happening in Africa.
It is, well, yeah, absolutely. They are using these in a first stage to deliver medicines. And we've talked about this 2 years ago. We talked about on Camelback, for instance. Summer's coming up. Every year, people get stranded. They get
Right,
dehydrated.
right.
Yes.
We could deliver water up there in 5 minutes.
Oh,
and right now,
sure.
it takes 2.5 hours for a
Yeah.
fire crew to get up there.
That's true.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
So that's a simple one.
Am I correct to assume that most of the drone activity is going to be at an altitude that will not affect any commercial aircraft flying over and in and out of Sky Harbor and all
Not
that?
supposed to be. at
That's
least.
right. The rules about not flying near an airport, for instance, are still in place.
Yeah.
They did increase the ceiling a little bit. They went from 200 feet to 400 feet in the recommendations, again, not rules yet. But that will allow more flexibility because Amazon, for instance, wants to be able to clear the power lines, tree lines, things like that.
Sure, yeah.
And so they need to get up to 400 feet. But that's still Class G airspace. That's below where manned aircraft are supposed to fly.
Man.
Okay.
So-
All
Does this
right.
look like it's
Lots of
going to
stuff.
put like drivers like UPS and FedEx out of?
It will. In 5 years, unmanned vehicles. And for instance, I noticed your cameras in here. I actually,
Yeah.
before law school, I actually operated a lot of cameras, and now they're all robotic.
Robotic.
So
Right.
same idea.
It's
Yeah.
a digital
Right?
age.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're
Wow.
semi-robotic.
Yeah.
Right?
But really, you see this pack on the back here?
The
That's-
battery pack? I
That's
was
my battery
wondering,
pack.
okay.
Yeah, don't put water on me.
All right, so now it's Arrowood Attorney.
Arrowood
No,
Attorneys
Arrowood
out of
Attorney.
Scottsdale, that's right. In California, we have clients. A lot of really high-tech clients, some really neat stuff. We also do low-tech law, of course, as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
So
you. So
So you're saying
interesting.
you still use the yellow legal pad?
I do, and a pen and the whole 9 yards. It's crazy, yeah.
For now.
None of the interns do, though,
that-
apparently. They don't know what a pen is. They don't know what a book is.
Yeah, what is
It's
that?
really strange.
Yeah.
Really,
Something
really
like
odd.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so
Thanks
much.
again,
so
guys.
much.
Thanks.
Great seeing you.